We're not going to start the show just yet, but if you can, let me know if you could hear me okay. I got a new laptop and everything like that, and I want to make sure people are able to hear me. So please, if you can, be sure to mention in the chat that you can hear me. That would be a huge help. Excellent. Thank you. I'm very excited about this. So we're going to be going live probably in I don't know, right about 4 o'clock. So I'm set up on the corner of Woodlawn and 17th, and we got mics for people if they want to get going. So again, out of respect for Fitz, I will go ahead and make sure that he finishes up his call-in show, and I have microphones for people to be able to talk and ask questions and all that. So when we get going, I'll let you guys know. I'll give you a little countdown. So be back in just a little bit. How you doing, everybody? I'm Ken Bykoff, and welcome to the Peegs Postgame Live, Nebraska edition. Indiana, 56-7 winners over the Nebraska Cornhuskers here at Memorial Stadium. I'm Ken Bykoff on the corner of Woodlawn and 17th as people head on out of the stadium and head on back home in this gorgeous cloudless day here at Memorial Stadium. I hope, let me know in the chat if you could hear me because we are up and running. But it's already getting some talk on the chat here. A lot of different people, including one Charlie Bykoff, Charlie the intern, saying it's 4 o'clock. Let's get going. So I will take that as people can hear me. 812-393-2600 is the number. The lines are open. And if you happen to be in the parking lot here at Memorial Stadium, we also have a microphone here to be able to take your questions and everything that goes along with it. The Hoosiers absolutely curb stomped the Cornhuskers, a team that was seen as their first big test. And I think it's real safe to say Indiana passed that test with flying colors. Just absolutely hammered the Cornhuskers and a Cornhusker team, a Cornhusker fan base that I think it's really interesting that you have Nebraska football and Indiana basketball are very parallel programs because in the 80s and in the past, they've been at a real high level. They haven't been as consistently good along the way, but certainly the fans have those same expectations. So coming into this game, I know a lot of Nebraska fans, their media, everything that goes along with it was saying, well, of course, this is Nebraska's going to handle business, and Indiana was not here to play that at all. The Hoosiers really not even challenged by the Cornhuskers. They made everything look absolutely uh, just just absolutely made everything look a little bit easy. A little bit easy. Thanks for the heads up, James, about maybe turning up the gain a little bit. Did just that. 812-393-2600 is the number. Well, the phone lines are open and people have the opportunity to call. I wanted to talk a little bit about what I really liked about this game. The Hoosiers, 495 yards of total offense. Obviously, the 56 points had just the one turnover on offense, and that was on a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. But the Hoosiers dominated this thing in every way, shape, and form. Consider that Nebraska had not given up a rushing touchdown this season, and yet they were able to the Hoosiers put up a whole bunch on the on them in a very short amount of time. Really exciting effort by Indiana in this one. The Hoosiers run the ball just dominated. You had 215 yards rushing yards. Justice Ellison, 9 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tyson Lawton, 8 carries, 64 yards. Consider that Indiana averaged 7.9 yards per play on the day. And they put up the 56 points, despite the fact that Nebraska had the ball for 5 more minutes. And that to me is really incredible job for this ball club. It's been pretty incredible to watch. The defense was dominant, swarming to the ball at every opportunity. Uh, Absolutely, just took Nebraska out everything they did. Raiola finishes 28 of 44 for 234 yards and 3 interceptions. Nebraska ran for 70 yards, kids. They ran for 70 yards, and that was it. And Indiana's offense put up 215. Nebraska as a team was giving up 275 yards of total offense on average. The Hoosiers had that by halftime, and they get to nearly 500 yards. Throw for 280, run for 215. Just really impressive numbers. Curtis Rourke, 17 of 21, 189 yards, a touchdown. And of course, he had the interception on that Hail Mary. And then he ends up banging up his thumb. Don't have an answer yet about what it is. I wasn't able to hear Sig on his postgame show, but or not postgame show, but postgame press conference. So I'll take a look for that. And in fact, for the people who are going to be listening to this after the fact, I'm going to bring you right here. I can't do it because live because of contractual or rights reasons. But if you're listening on the podcast afterwards, here's comments from head coach Curt Cignetti during his postgame press conference. Yeah. So that was for the recording. This one, we got to keep rolling here on the corner of 17th and Woodlawn. Rourke, 17 of 21, banged up his thumb, didn't come back. They hand the reins off to Taven Jackson, and all he does is go 7 of 8 for 891 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Hoosiers on the day, 24 of 30 passing, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. You had Miles Cross with 7 catches for 65 yards. Elijah Surratt, 3 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. And the throws were on point. They were efficient. Indiana's offensive line completely dominated. Can't say enough about anything that the Hoosiers were able to do in this one. Uh, Again, the number 812-393-2600. Please give us a call. You got the lines are open right now. If you have questions on the chat, make sure that we are able um, to keep this thing rolling because I'm pretty excited. But what I'm also excited about is that we have, for the first time, I'm kind of at tailgate. Dave Nergy and his group over here on the. Did I pronounce that right? Here, go ahead, grab the microphone there.
Got it right.
Oh,
It's hard to do.
all right. Well, so we have Dave Nergy, who's graciously allowed us to come and be a part of this tailgate here. Dave, you were in the game. Your thoughts on how the Hoosiers played and how everything went with this one?
It was amazing. I mean, it's just absolutely it was unbelievable in a good way. It was weird. I actually was in the fourth quarter. I was, believe it or not, I was like a little bit bored towards the end, for a good reason. And I can't remember the last time I've been at a Big Ten game here where I was looking at my watch saying, okay, let's just run the clock out, let's get this thing over because we were up there so much. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was next level here for what the atmosphere. And then I've said this before, it's disconcerting to see this Indiana team play as well as they have, move to 7-0. And way I've heard it put, they were not playing with their food, and they have not played with their food this year. They've just eaten and eaten well.
Yes. And speaking of the crowd, there was a drive in the second half. It was a third down, and they were going for it, and they had an offsides. And I think the crowd might have rattled the Nebraska line. And then it went to fourth. It was third and one. Maybe it was fourth and I forget. They had to go back 6 yards. So they couldn't convert. I think the crowd made a difference. Yeah, kudos to the crowd for something.
Well, and people have gone ahead and just really bought in with this team, to say the least. They have really been able uh, to just do a great job with that, and I'm excited to see as you see these things continue. With the sellout for Michigan, the sellout for this game, Washington certainly I think has that opportunity, and just the excitement in the stands has to be fun to watch as somebody who's been around for a long time.
Yes, it was fantastic. It was. I was very happy.
They were letting me know they couldn't hear you as well there, so I turned you up, but now they could hear you. Now I think they could hear you just fine.
Sure. Sorry.
So he mentioned earlier, for if you couldn't hear, that it was kind of a little bit boring at the end of the game, and people started leaving early. And what a great thing to have happen, that you're able to enjoy a comfortable win and leave early. And again, the only concern for me in this game is the condition of Curtis Rourke going forward.
Yeah.
But Taven certainly looked comfortable out there.
Yeah. He made really good throws. One of his receivers dropped a sure third down conversion. Not his fault. It was a well-executed play. The receiver just dropped it. So he looked clean. He made good decisions. He ran well. Yeah, he looked good. He looked very capable.
812-393-2600 is the number. Let's go ahead and there's if you want to step down there, it is if you're here at Memorial Stadium, come by, you grab the microphone and work with us there. I want to get to a couple of chat questions a little bit. Everybody wants to know how Rourke is, and again, apparently Sig said in the post game they'll know more tomorrow, which is not promising. That doesn't make me feel good about anything that's happening, but let's see what that. How that plays out. They also said defense, keep them out there until they make another mistake or go out on fourth down. Can't say enough about anything that they did. That this defense played with an edge to it, to say the least. And it was really, really great to see them just raise that level and be there along the way and just dominant. I mean, you look at that offensive line; they really did a fantastic job on the offensive line, just keeping everybody, just keeping Nebraska, out of the backfield. And Dave, I'll bring you back in here, ask you some of your thoughts on the offensive line, and just see what it is that what was kind of the attitude in the stands.
I I was impressed with again key runs on key downs. I mean, there were so many giant holes. And I caught a little bit of the post game Fox show. They had a running back that had I think it was like he had averaged 11.8 yards per carry today. Again, and that was supposed to be Nebraska's strength was their run defense. Not today.
Just their defense in general, and that is not something at all that the Hoosiers had a problem with. They were absolutely efficient, and I got to take a look at the drive chart. But it is to be able to go up and score 28 points in the first half, and then stay on the gas during the second half. I think was really important for this ball club as well, just to build. Just to build as things go along. 812-393-2600 is the number. Lines are open, so please give me a call. Come visit us out here at Memorial Stadium, corner 17th and Woodlawn, right by the Gate 4 sign is where we are stepping up. Right here, there's sirens. I don't know if Nebraska is running out of here with their tail between their legs or what the story is, or it looks like just an ambulance up the way. But give us a call. We want to hear from you. 812-393-2600 is the number, or feel free to pick up the microphone as you come by here. Indiana on the day. There's nothing to not like about what the Hoosiers did. And again, it's disconcerting. One of the knocks here is here. I think we are going to have Nebraska come on through. This is a little mess that we got going on here. So I'm going to mute this for just a second, just for you guys to save you a little bit. Oh, no, that was it. I don't know who they're clearing out right there, but I know a lot of SUVs being cleared out here. Somebody important went by. I don't get that kind of treatment, I can tell you that. So we got a call here. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to one of our callers. Caller, let me know your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Ken, this is Ryan. Hey, I mean, what a dominant win. As a younger Hoosier fan, I haven't seen anything like this. My dad reminded me of the 41-10 victory over Ohio State, whatever that was, 36 years ago, 1988. So I just wanted to ask you a question about Nebraska, because they came in, we were thinking, they were going to get a statement win, borderline top 25 team, and we took it to them. And I just wanted to know, really what you think of Nebraska in the future. And great win.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much for the call. Really, really appreciate it. And I got to tell you that this is a Hoosier team that this is a huge win. It's an absolutely huge win that we have. That it's a comfortable win. They weren't pushed. They weren't any of it on it. They just did a great job and did it with the chip on their shoulder the whole time, which I think is really, really important, because this is an IU team that certainly is, it was not messing around. It came to play today, and Kurt Cignetti stayed on the gas. It's a huge victory. And again, Indiana moves to 7-0 on the season. It's exciting. This Nebraska team, and it isn't a bad team at all. They just absolutely got hammered by the Hoosiers today. There's a lot of talented guys there, but Nebraska tends to have a really good offensive line, a really good defense. They play close games, and they just got absolutely waxed by Indiana today. Thanks so much for the call, Ryan. Really appreciate it. Number 812-393-2600. We have somebody on the chat saying that that the Peegs always has the worst audio, but the audio is fine. I am dealing with a couple of new things here in that this is a new laptop that I got for this, and I'm doing it in the parking lot, more of a remote thing. So just bear with us. Again, this is the seventh time that we've done this, and we'll be going into basketball, be able to clear up any kind of bugs along the way. But we certainly could use your phone calls. 812-393-2600 is the number. Indiana 56-7 final. And, Kurt Cignetti has talked at length about it. He calls it not taking the rat poison and not falling victim to all the attention that you're getting. Indiana obviously sitting here at 7-0 now, 6-0 going into the season, going into the week. You had big noon kickoff show up, so there's a lot of attention being paid. And what did he do? Cignetti did a lot of media. A lot of the media that people are interested. Cignetti did it, and I don't think that he did it for arrogant reasons. It's to put the spotlight on him and let his players focus. And certainly they came out with a focus, ready to play. They knew that a lot of people just aren't believing in what these Hoosiers are doing. Ain't no questions now. Ain't no questions now. Now you got Washington coming up. You got Michigan coming up. You got Michigan State. You got some tough games still coming up. And let me know, just how this is a ball club that is for real. It is an absolute real team. It's really good. 812-393-2600. I see somebody Benjamin, it says, talking about the audio on the pressers. Let's talk about that. Because the past couple of press conferences, there have been audio issues on Indiana's side. The mult box that they use that we plug our microphones into have not been working. And so we've had to deal with that and kind of move things around with that. It's not always the best. So I understand it goes up on us. So people think that our audio is what is the problem. Indiana's audio has been a lot less than great this year. And so that's something that continues to be a work in progress. 812-393-2600. I'll stay on the air for as long as I'm getting phone calls. Little surprised that we're not getting a few more this time around. So please give me a call. I want to hear from you. And we also have a live microphone here for anybody who's coming by. We want to hear from you. We want you to tell us what your thoughts are about Indiana's 56-7 win, a game in which Indiana had some really nice chunk plays on offense. You're talking about chunk plays are defined as picking up gain 15 and plus yards on through the air, 10 plus yards on the ground. Indiana had 9 chunk plays in this thing, 171 rushing yards in those 9 plays. Through the passing game, 6 of those kinds of plays, 152 yards. So you had that nice balance. Now, if you're talking about what Nebraska did in terms of those chunk plays, Indiana's defense was more locked down. 3 chunk plays on when it comes to the running game. They pick up a total of 34 yards. Longest run of the day for Nebraska, 13 yards. In the passing game, the longest gain of the day, it was 28 yards. And that was in the fourth quarter, well after this game was put to bed. And again, you just cannot be impressed enough with the job Indiana did today. Aiden Fisher, 11 tackles, including 4 solo stops. The Hoosiers, only had a couple of pass breakups, only 2 sacks, but they made Raiola uncomfortable the entire game. And again, that is something that this defense continues to get better and better and better and builds confidence week after week after week. And I think that is something that is, it's exciting. It's exciting to watch. And Indiana also had this Nebraska team frustrated to the point that their head coach got a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty down 35. And when you can get inside someone's head to that level, where he's upset about a lack of a call down 35, you've done your job as a team. And Indiana absolutely powdered Nebraska on Saturday afternoon at Memorial Stadium. And furthermore, we'll go a step further to that. They put their flag in the ground. But you guys go ahead. Don't believe that we're real. Don't believe that is something that this Hoosier team is ready to perform. They came to play. and that is that chip on the shoulder brought to you by Kurt Cignetti and his coaching staff. He is the guy that makes sure that everybody stays focused, nobody relaxes, and that intensity is serving the Hoosiers very, very well to this point. Got another caller. If you go ahead and give me your name, where you're from, and what you got. Patrick, you on the line?
Been following you for a long time. Been a season ticket holder for 22 years. This is the most fun game I've been through in my 22 years. Just absolutely loved everything about it. As a long-time fan, then you just kind of wait for the other two to drop. And with this team, I think I'm starting to finally get to the point where it's you couldn't do that. You gotta just wait for them to rise above. And I'm just so blown away with the coaching acumen, the all facets of the game just being so sound. The wide receivers, the offensive line, the running backs, the whole defense in general, they were just flying around to the ball. Every time somebody got open, you just knew that they were going to make the tackle. Just so impressed by this team and this coaching staff.
What do you think is going to make it to so that you do get comfortable with this team? I know that you say that you're feeling that way, and rightfully so. But what do you think it's going to take to get to that point where you are just truly comfortable and you feel like like other programs do?
It's weird. Today's game. I didn't expect. I thought it was going to be a close game. I thought that our defense was going to get gassed a little bit. Um, just the ability for Indiana to get pressure on the quarterback today. I know he's a freshman quarterback, but they're not sending exotic blitzes. They do send some blitzes, but they're able to get to the quarterback and put pressure on the quarterback. It makes our secondary look so good, and the these linebackers clean up so much. And I'm totally there. I'm 100% in. I don't think I'll ever be as cocky as like the high school fans where I live and being jokeless about our football team, but I'm just so impressed by everything that they do and how they operate. It just couldn't be more tragic than we do.
Well, thank you so much for the call, Patrick. I really, really appreciate it. And I mean, again, it is a disconcerting thing because you do start to believe, and it takes a while. But it's 28-7. It's a 21-point game, and even I've been watching this program for a long time. It's a weird feeling to try to relax a little bit, and yet they're making believers out of everybody. And I think that is something that makes a huge difference because when you expect to win. Don't hope to win, expect to win. It really raises the bar for everybody. And Kurt Cignetti has gotten people to that point where they are expecting to win, gotten the players, certainly. And now the fans are coming along, and you can build on this atmosphere that they have with this game and go forward. Even in Curtis Rourke, he's got the hand thing. We'll find out more tomorrow and all of that, and that's the concern. But I will say, Taven Jackson looked very, very comfortable running this offense. He has starting experience, so if he does have to step in, the confidence that has been built over the first 7 weeks of this season and the first 7 games of this season can be really, really huge in helping a guy take a leap because he has seen how it's done well. He's been able to watch a little bit in a way that he wasn't last year. I'm excited to see what we got, going forward. Got another caller? If you could go ahead and give me your name, where you're from, and what you got.
John Bradford from Seymour, Indiana. And I just thought I'd like to say that I was a student at IU in 1967, so I'm 77 years old. And I just wanted to say that I think Kurt Cignetti is the best football coach I've ever seen at Indiana, and by quite a wide margin, I think. And I kind of had a feeling that he was going to be very good when I heard him talk right after he retired, he just seems like he's a guy that has a lot of confidence in himself, knows what he's doing, had a plan, has worked it out, and he also has a very good group of assistant coaches and stuff with him that most of them he brought along. And I just think he's great.
Well, thank you so much for the call. I really, really appreciate it. Seymour, Indiana. It is, he's exactly right. You know, what Kurt Cignetti has been able to do from basically his press conference has been incredible because he has been able to uh, just change the way everybody has approached everything with this program. There's a confidence there that is in him, and he has backed everything up. This is something that we were talking about in the press box at halftime, that if you are a player on the team, everything Kurt Cignetti has told you and sold you on since he got here has absolutely gone the way that he said it would. So there's no reason to doubt anything that he's saying, anything that he's teaching, anything his coaching staff is going about, because it has yielded results week after week after week, and not just a little bit of results. You know, they just went ahead and they beat that Cornhusker ass today, plain and simple. And to be able to do that and be able uh, to put together a game plan that worked as well as that, I think is just it goes so far toward being able to keep this thing going. You're going to have hiccups. You know, this is a good football team. You know, where that hiccup is going to come is a question. But I'm telling you right now, uh, this is a team that has completely bought into what Kurt Cignetti is selling, and there's no reason that they shouldn't, because literally everything that he has said has ended up coming true. 812-393-2600 is the number. Let's get to a couple of chat questions. Cameron asks, can you talk about the shift in the program culture from rah-rah to one of a business mentality? And that's about different styles of coaching. And this is something that I know people make fun of Tom Allen for the rah-rah attitude. It's simply a different style. The key for Tom Allen, that what he was selling and what worked really, really well in 2018, 2019, 2020, it stopped working because college football changed along the way. I really feel that way. It wasn't a love each other family situation anymore. It was more about um, NIL and transfers and being able to play right away. And so the culture of college football changed because it had to change. So Tom Allen had a different perspective. What Kurt Cignetti gives you is a very quiet, uh, very, very quiet uh, confidence that he doesn't yell and scream. He's there because he expects to win. He expects what they're selling to work because he's seen it work before. He knows it works. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and walk right out there and take on a Nebraska team that absolutely is was ready to try to say something or try to be something, and Indiana just snuffed them right there, right off the bat. First drive, went ahead and shut them down, and Indiana was able to just step on the gas from there, and the Hoosiers never let go. This game, this final score wasn't just about Nebraska. It was about the rest of the Big Ten. Pay attention to us because we are here to play. 812-393-2600 is the number you have. JM says it's an odd time when Indiana fans could be disappointed with just a bowl game if they drop a game or two and you don't make the college football playoff. I will tell you right now, um, this game, all the pressure was on Nebraska because Indiana's playing with house money from a fan standpoint. Year over year over year, we talk about circling the 6 wins. Where do you find 6 wins on the schedule? Indiana opens with 6 straight wins, gets a 7th win, and now expectations completely change to where, let's say, Indiana loses a game or two down the stretch and doesn't play in a college football playoff, just goes to a bowl game. That's a successful season by any measure, especially for one that had won 9 games in 3 years. it's a hugely successful season. So it is an interesting place to be, no question, though, because expectations have raised really high really quickly, and they will continue that way. You got Washington coming to town next week, noon kickoff at Memorial Stadium, and that is going to be a situation where the Hoosiers will definitely be favored. And if Indiana isn't able to walk away with the win, it's going to feel like a letdown to some people. But believe you me when I say that this is a team that has really raised expectations, but raised expectations of the fans, but the expectations inside the program haven't moved an inch because Cignetti set that bar so high right off the bat, and that is where they have stayed right now. We have another quick question. It says. It says, for years I've griped about IU making stupid penalties and mistakes. No more. I like Tom Allen's vibe, but this squad is such a huge upgrade. That discipline certainly is part of the equation here. They have done a great job when it comes to cutting out silly penalties and just not making the kind of mistakes that makes people crazy. And it would hurt this program in the past. You just haven't seen it, and I just it's really amazing the turnaround that we've seen there. We got another caller. Uh, Steve, you're on the air. Where are you from? What you got? Steve, you there? Can you hear me, Steve? Steve's not coming through. Hopefully, he's if you hear me, Steve, then just pipe up because I feel
Yeah.
like I there.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, my headphones were off. So yeah, I'm driving home from watching the game at the bar in Denver with the alumni club.
Okay.
And first game of the year, this year, we had like 15 people. We had over 200 per game today. It was unbelievable. And first score, it was like everybody in the entire stadium knew we were going to win the game. Nebraska doesn't let running plays happen, and we ran it into the end zone. It was just like the most unbelievable experience.
Well, Nebraska hadn't given up a rushing touchdown literally all season, and Indiana had 3 in the first half alone.
I know. That was the thing. It was like our first touchdown, it was like everybody in the stadium knew we're going to run the football. We ran the football and scored a touchdown. On this vaunted, Nebraska defense that all week I've been hearing, oh, Indiana's not going to be able to do this, that, or the other because they've never played anyone. Nebraska's the real deal. And it just felt so good that, okay, yeah, here we go. Game starts, and we're doing it.
Yeah, they completely handled business, and to see the growth, even here at the stadium, you got a sellout crowd, and most people stayed. They started to leave in the fourth quarter, but it's a fourth quarter of a blowout. Actually, that's not a. It's understandable if you did that. It's great to see people buy in, especially if it's the alumni club going, building in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, and I mean, we have basketball for now, but this is the biggest we've had for football. And but this was, it's like I've been an IU fan, that football fan for 40 years. It's unbelievable, and I keep expecting Lucy to pull the football out, which is what we're used to.
No, absolutely. Well, Steve, thank you so much for the phone call. Really appreciate it. And I don't think that you are, on your own when it comes to that feeling of is this really happening? Because I feel like that is a normal reaction that people are having, in that you keep waiting for what's going to go tragically wrong, and it's just simply scar tissue from years of things going really wrong. Curtis Rourke, he's injured in this game. We'll see how bad that is. going forward, that's the huge concern coming out of this game. But again, Taven Jackson looked very nice in a backup role, at the very least. If you have a hand issue, it isn't the end of things to where it's maybe you're not going to have any kind of season-ending whatever. Maybe it's something minor. We'll find out more, but that is a concern. But every week, I know that I keep waiting for what's going to go wrong, where this is going to go, what's going to go bad, and instead, you're not. It's just not happening. And I think that it's a ton of fun when it comes to that. I think we have somebody that like to hop on the mic.
Yeah.
Go ahead, grab it. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, Ken, Dan here from Ellettsville. Nice to meet you finally in person.
Nice to meet you. I'm from Ellettsville. I live in Ellettsville myself.
Oh, yeah. Right on. Great game today, man. I couldn't believe just like that score, 56-7. Ridiculous. Like, I don't think anyone foresaw that in their wildest dreams. Like, IU just looked just spot on, complete game. I've never seen an IU team look that confident and that just dominant in the, I don't know, 30 some years I've been coming to watch these games. So it was terrific.
What impressed you the most?
They just were never perturbed by anything. Like, this is like, the song says never daunted. This is a team that's never been daunted ever. Like, they just look like, and I don't want to say the word professional, but they look like they're there to win. They're there to play hard, and they do it every day, day in, day out.
It's been incredible. What did you think about the atmosphere today and just having these stands filled?
This is one of the best atmospheres I've ever seen here at IU. Clearly, like, the noonday kickoff, like, did a lot for it, but man, like, this town's been electric. Like, not even just because of homecoming, just because, like, everybody, I think, is really starting to buy in this team. Like, everybody's buying what Kurt Cignetti's selling. They love it. And he's the coach that we've been looking for probably since Bill Mallory, to be honest, where it's like, this is a guy that's no nonsense. He knows how to run a program, and he's going to run it his way. And, come hell or high water, like, you better come on for the ride, or else, it's not going to go well for you. But it's been great.
Well, and I've said for years that this is an Indiana fan base that desperately wants a good football team.
Agreed.
They really want it. They want every time that you have it. They may be a little bit slow to believe, but that's because they've been disappointed so often in the past.
I am one of those people who is still waiting for the bottom to come out. I'll be honest. Like, it took till the fourth quarter when we were up by like 35 points probably, where I was like, oh, we're gonna win. Like, to me, I was still like, when's it gonna happen? Like, when are we gonna mess up? Like, I was telling some people next to me, I was like, I still remember it's like 16 or 15, whatever it was. Sudfeld throws a sideways pass. Tevin Coleman, he misses it up. It's a lateral. Minnesota gets it. We lose homecoming.
Right.
Like, that was the first thing in my mind. I'm like, until we are in a point where that's not going to happen, I'm still going to imagine that's going to be the case. But like, he's making me a believer. I'll be honest. Like, I've started coming around to the, IU is going to find a way, come hell or high water, and they're gonna play their hearts out, which I love.
Well, and they haven't really faced a whole bunch of adversity. The way I keep putting it is that they're not playing with their food; they're just eating.
Yes, exactly. And that was always my biggest gripe about IU teams in the past is we would be up, we'd be looking good, and then we'd get in this like state where it's like we're playing not to lose anymore. And like, as soon as you have that mentality shift, or what it seems like, we would just, drop the ball and just find a way to lose every single time. But Kurt Cignetti, he doesn't let it. He just does not let them. It's, we're going to win. You're going to come with me. Like, get ready. Here we go. And I love that. Like, if we have to beat everyone by 49 points, so be it. But like,
you'll be okay with that?
Oh God, yes. God, yes. It's great to see though. Like, the man knows what he's doing. He knows how to run a team. Like, I'm just excited to see what he does in the future and, how things continue to go.
Well, and beyond that, it's not just like an offense that is really dominant and able to outscore opponents, which they are, but this is a defense that is dominant as well. And so it isn't a matter of, well, you have to try to outscore somebody, or you can't give up a point. It is balanced.
Yeah, like, I know a lot of people were saying before this. I listened to a number of IU football podcasts, and a lot of people were predicting this to be strength versus strength. I use offense versus Nebraska's defense, and most of them are saying I use offense will probably outweigh the strength of Nebraska's defense. And that's exactly what happened. But I don't think anybody predicted it would happen to the tune of 49 points. Like, that was insane. But I completely agree that it's like this is a team that knows what they want, and when they figure that out, they are just relentless to the ball. Like they didn't let up. They are constantly like looking for those turnovers. Like we got at least two turnovers. Am I
3 interceptions?
Three interceptions
and a fumble.
and a fumble?
Yeah.
And like what we didn't have anything close to that the rest of the season, right? Like I this might put us back at even after that Northwestern Maryland game, but like I've never seen a team that's just like so dialed in, just ready to go, and how to say, spare no mercy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, it's great. It's great to see. But they still treat their opponent with dignity, which I appreciate. Because like Cignetti, like you put Jackson in, that's because supposedly Rourke had a injured something or other.
He hurt his thumb. Yeah.
His thumb. Okay. And but Jackson played his heart out. He played a great game. Like he looked like he could have been probably starter at a lot of teams. Like looked great.
Yeah.
Loved it. And Cignetti didn't pull any of the other starters, at least maybe till like the fourth. Like what was it? Jackson's first throw was I think to Surratt or yeah. And yeah, that guy's he's not messing around. He's letting his opponents know that we mean business. Right. This is an IU of old. Yeah. Like, you better come ready because we are.
Absolutely.
Which I love.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks. Really appreciate it. And thank you for I know that you've called in before, and I appreciate being in person.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you in person, Ken. Love it, man. You're doing a great job. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Great to see it. And 812-393-2600 is the number. Going to stay on the air for just a little while longer. Want to be sure to get through any of the chat questions that we have. That was really great that he was able to stop by and say hi. And that's what we're looking for this. That's what we're absolutely looking for. Going into this game, I had kind of looked at a prediction for things on where this team was going to be, what was going to happen. And my head told me that this was going to be a game that Indiana was going to be very, very competitive, have every opportunity to win in this one. The scar tissue in me said, this might be a 42-17 loss because we've seen that so many times over the years. Indiana made a lot of believers out of a lot of people today. And I think that is just about as exciting as you could get for this ball club. 812-393-2600 is the number. Chat's kind of slowing down a little bit. We have lines are wide open, so please, if you got a question, let me know. And otherwise, we'll just stay on for maybe another 10 more minutes and be on our way. But this is a gorgeous day in Bloomington. Cannot say enough about everything that we have here. Cloudless day, perfect temperature, great atmosphere, sold out football stadium, 7-0 football team, national attention coming our way. What is it that you have to say about this ball club? What would you nitpick about the ball club? That's what I want to know, because I was on a radio show in Nebraska earlier this week, and they asked me, what are you concerned about with this ball club? What are the things that they don't do well? And I didn't really have an answer. I didn't have an answer for them about what this team doesn't do well, what concerns I have. The kicking game, I said, is a little bit inconsistent in terms of kickoffs. Sometimes it go out of bounds, and we saw that today. Really like to see them just kind of kick it through the end zone right in the middle of the field as best that they can, as consistently as possible. The fact that Cignetti didn't go for a field goal in the first quarter, I was fine with it going for it on the first drive. The second one, where they ended up getting stopped, that to me was something that is a little bit of a bigger concern. because just take the points and go up. And instead, they were unwilling to do that. So that is a concern. But, hey, that is, if that's the case, that is, you can't complain too much about what the Hoosiers have been doing with this. Got another caller. This is Randy. Randy, where are you from? And what you got?
I'm from Greenville, live in Greenville, Ohio, from Union City, Indiana. Today I'm down in Houston, Texas. I'm down with my brother and his family for some days and watch the game. It's an exciting game. Just want to talk a little bit about what your thoughts are about next week with Washington. They have a little bit more experienced quarterback. What do you think Indiana needs to do to be successful and go to 8-0 against a team with a quarterback that's more experienced?
Well, thanks for the question. I keep kind of dropping out on my microphone because we have a generator that's running kind of close. What they need to do is continue to be efficient with the ball and take care of the ball offensively. And that's whether it's Curtis Rourke that's going to be the guy, whether it's going to be Taven Jackson, depending on Rourke's condition. It really just depends, but also continue to play with your foot on the gas on both sides of the ball. And that is something that I believe will continue to happen because this is all that we've seen the entire year is Indiana playing one speed, and that is just your foot on the gas, offense, defense for the full 60 minutes. Something that has been a problem for Indiana football over the years has been putting together a complete 60-minute football game. This may be the most complete 60-minute football game I've seen against a peer opponent. That is somebody who's on the same level. We're not talking about Western Illinois. We're talking about a peer opponent that I have seen. And that is something that is impressive. And it makes you believe that they're going to continue to play at that level. And as teams have come up, as that attention that Indiana gets has risen, I really think this is a team that is feeding off the idea that this is, they're not getting the respect that they deserve. And it seems that they're feeding off of that. And I think the coaching staff does everything they can to kind of push that feeling on the players and really help them out that way. What would you like to see against Washington?
I'd love to see, obviously, he knows with quarterback situation for next week with Rourke being injured, if he's going to be able to go next week. I feel good about having Taven Jackson as the backup and being able to step in. I'm a little concerned about, the back shoulder throws that Rourke is able to do with Surratt and with Cooper and those that he's been very highly successful with. I'm just wondering if Taven's going to have that same type of chemistry with those wideouts on those throws. So that seems like on third down, I don't really get overly concerned at 3rd and 10 because I just have high belief in just watching over the past few weeks of the team coming through and moving the chain. So I'm a little concerned about that. Hopeful that Taven can get more reps to be able to be very consistent next week. That's a little concern. The other concern is I wish that the coach, like in the 4th quarter, he would still had a lot of the starters in. I was really fearful of possible injuries for the starters and then just gaining experience for that second team that we're going to need somewhere down the line at next year as well in many cases. Love to see some of the second team guys to get a little bit more reps when the game's already out of reach. So that's my concern. I was thinking about that. I don't want to see one of the O-line guys go down in the 4th quarter when we're up, 35 points. That's just a concern. And I think that the coach has everybody believing. And I just also wanted to thank you for having this podcast for the call-in show because it's very disappointing that the State School of Indiana doesn't have a call-in show on the radio network. So I want to thank you for making it available for the Peegs members. But I wish Coach Stig and Scott Dolson and others could find a way to make this thing go live on the radio network because that's where it needs to be.
Well, I certainly appreciate the call, Randy. Thank you so much. And this was also this is for years they've had a call-in show. I've been the co-host of that for the past 13 years, and they this was the season that they decided not to bring it back because of some affiliate things. But I'm happy to bring it to you now. and do it this way. And I think it's also great too because I feel like it's giving us the opportunity to reach out to IU fans across the country in a little bit different way. You know, we had a call from Denver earlier this year. Earlier today, we had people from Ohio. They're able to get it online in a way that they maybe couldn't get to the IU radio network. So it'd be great if we could still do it on there. I'm happy to bring it to you in this way as well. What the? There is a Yukon, a GMC. Somebody I think made a turn that they were not supposed to because they were just going right up the sidewalk right in front of me. That was wild there for a second. Sorry, I got distracted because there is just a big ass GMC there. So okay, so but to your point about the people, the second unit and all that gaining experience, all that. There's also a thing of just keeping uh, your standard high and making sure that you get to the end of the game and it's 56-7 and there's not like a garbage time touchdown, anything like that. Your intensity is there. And so if you want those minutes, you have to make yourself available to play. You do that in practice. You gain experience in the best way you can. Coaches will say you get hurt in practice. You can get hurt anytime. So we're not going to worry too much about that. But, this is an IU team that has some guys that are building. And you also have some it's a delicate balance there when you're dealing with games like this because you want guys to get experience and you want to develop your program for the future while also taking care of business for this year. You also have the point about Taven Jackson. Last year, Jackson had to start some games. He really wasn't ready, but he kind of got pushed into action because Indiana didn't have anybody else to go to. Being able to learn next to and watch for at least half a season now, a former MAC Offensive Player of the Year, somebody who is as solid as Curtis Rourke has been, I think is a huge benefit to Taven Jackson. And so being able, I think he's unquestionably will be more ready to step in if he has to than he otherwise would have, depending on what Rourke's situation is. The other thing is that it is this 56-7 win. You have a sellout crowd, a gorgeous day. Hoosier hysteria happened last night. Energetic. You beat a team like Nebraska, and you do it in front of a whole pile of recruits. And there's a lot of football recruits that are in town today. Homecoming weekend, Nebraska, big game. They saw what's possible under Kurt Cignetti, and you could bet that really makes a difference to these kids. And the crowd, this is where the crowd and the people at the games makes a huge difference. Got another call I'm going to go to right now. Scott, where are you from? What you got?
Hi, Ken. Yeah, this is Scott. I live in northern Arizona, Prescott Valley to be specific. I'm an 86 IU graduate, so I've been around. Also from Merrillville, Indiana. I wanted to
I'm
say
from Maryville.
specifically why I happen to say that. Happened to read your book on the history, Hoosier history, and knew that you were from Maryville. So I'm a fellow region rat.
Another region rat. Love it.
Anyways, the first of all, the game for me was a 9 a.m. start, and so I didn't get up early enough to watch the pregame show, but definitely turned on just before kickoff, and they showed the wide shot of the stadium and seeing the stadium full, even nearly almost filling the corners. Very literally brought a tear to my eye. Couldn't really believe how great it is. I know as coach has said, if you win, the people will come, and the people are definitely coming. Would love to continue to see that. As I said, I was watching the game on Fox and saw where Curtis hurt his thumb. He was making a pass, and he kind of caught the defender's wrist as he was making that throw. They kind of said that he had split his thumbnail, and there was a very brief shot of his hand, and it was pretty bloody for a while. So I'm not the doctor. I can't say that's the injury, but what they were saying on Fox, that maybe he just split his nail, split it very deep to cause that much blood. So we'll have to see. I am very pleased about how Taven filled in for him there in the second half. I was very proud of his play there. So glad to see that. And so we move on now and see how we do with Washington.
Well, Scott, thank you so much. Really appreciate the call. Good to talk to another region rat and be able to hear your insights. With Rourke, the thing that concerns me about Rourke was just the fact that they had his whole hand bandaged up, and it looked like there was a bandage that went up his thumb and over the top of it. Hopefully, that's all it is a split thumb. But we'll see. You know, Sig said we'll know more tomorrow, which is always a concern when coaches say that, because you just want them to be like, hey, you know what? Nah, it's fine. It's all good. Don't worry about it. But that isn't necessarily where we're at with this. So we'll see how it goes, and go from there. But there's no question this is an Indiana team that was ready to play today, and they need Curtis Rourke playing at a high level. But I did like what Taven Jackson had to do in the second half of this one. He looked a lot more confident than he did last year. Last call for phone calls. Right now, 812-393-2600 is the number. Got a chat thing from James. IU better do everything they can to pay Sig and his staff to stay together in Bloomington, because with this success, they're going to get offers elsewhere. This is what we need long term. Let's talk about that. Kurt Cignetti, 63 years old. He's coaching in the Big Ten, and I am not at all convinced that he's a guy that's looking to go somewhere. Now, your assistants and all of that, they certainly are going to get attention because they're doing this at multiple stops and being really successful. Indiana will do everything they can to keep them. Already, it just through Cignetti's contract, the bonuses that are coming his way and are coming the assistant coach's way is a huge deal. They're getting a lot more money sent for resources and everything that goes along with it. So I'm just saying this. We were talking about this in the press box beforehand. I would be really surprised, stunned even, if this was a season where Sig would be here for a year and then go somewhere else after putting in the time that he has here. Cignetti's 63 years old, and being able to have to pick up his family and move again for a different situation doesn't make a ton of sense. Yeah, money's money, and I get that, but it's starting over again when you're already at a Big Ten level and playing at a very high level. Indiana has proven that it's willing to commit resources to this football program, and the fact that that Indiana has been successful with those resources, I think, is really important. And I would be surprised about that. But there's no question. It's also a sign of a good football program when other programs want your assistance. I mean, look, you have guys that were offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators here at Indiana not too long ago who are now over at Alabama as the head coach and the defensive coordinator. So can't say enough about the group that they had then. Being able to build off of that, I think, is going to be really important. Well, the final score from Memorial Stadium, 56-7. Is your final score, and the Hoosiers dominate the Cornhuskers in every possible way in this one. Move to 7-0, and that's incredible to say, and have it be real. Have a real chance to move to 8-0 with Washington coming to town next week, and this incredible season moves on. We'll see what's going on with Curtis Rourke on tomorrow and Monday. We'll have the press conference with him, but we'll see. 56-7 is your final. Questions have been answered about these Hoosiers, and one answer for sure is that Indiana is 7-0. Well, that's all the time we have on the Peaks post game live. I want to thank you for listening, and I want to remind you to visit Peegs.com for the very best in IU football and basketball coverage you're going to find anywhere. Nobody covers Hoosier recruiting better than Jeff Rabjohns, Matt Reaver, Trevor Andershock, and Jared Kelly. So come be a part of a thriving and exciting community at Peegs.com. Folks, you are not going to be disappointed. Folks, we're out of time, but for now, and for Jeff, Matt, Jared, and Trevor, I'm Ken Bykoff saying thanks for listening, everybody.